Why you got Sack and Juvie tatted on you? They not dead. I wouldn't tat nobody on me that's not dead. 2 days after that, these boys dead.
Well, it just, which one were you close with?
Both of them. Every last one of them.
Stop everything. Because somebody just hit upload on a clip that's been hiding in the digital basement. And the internet is swallowing itself whole. A friend of YNW Melly allegedly dropped an unseen meltdown moment. And the second that footage surfaced, conspiracy theories flew faster than TMZ interns on overtime. And trust me, this makes the Kardashians look like they're arguing over gluten-free pancake mix in the video.
I already know. My dead and gone. I already know what y'all here for.
Well, it just, which one were you close with?
Both of them. Every last one of them.
Did you grow up with them?
Every last one of them.
Melly doesn't look calm, collected, or camera-ready. He looks rattled, shaking, emotional in a way that had the internet screaming, "What happened before this? What happened after?" The raw energy, the tremble in his voice, and the wild stare sent viewers scrambling to decode every second like forensic analysts cracking secret Pentagon files. It wasn't a performance. It wasn't a joke. The clip looked like stress dripping straight off the screen, and that's when the theories detonated. Was this meltdown triggered by betrayal? Pressure? A massive truth bomb nobody saw coming. Screenshots got dissected, slowed down, zoomed in like the footage contained a hidden confession. Rumor pages are foaming at the mouth, comment sections are rioting. And conspiracy TikTok is treating it like a missing chapter leak. If this clip is even halfway real, Melly might have just handed the internet its next headline obsession, and the fallout is already volcanic. The moment that alleged unseen clip hit the internet, the entire rap ecosystem acted like someone pulled the fire alarm in a stadium. Nobody knew exactly where the video came from, who uploaded it, or whether it was even recent. But that didn't stop the timeline from exploding like a microwave stuffed with fireworks. The clip was supposedly posted by someone being labeled a friend, although in the era of clout coliseums, friend can mean anything from childhood ally to somebody who stood near you once at a studio. But labels didn't matter. The footage showed YNW Melly in a moment that fans instantly dubbed a meltdown. Voice strained, expression tense, energy flickering between frustration and exhaustion. It didn't need context. The internet supplied its own. People online said the clip felt too raw. And that's exactly why it became instant gasoline. They zoomed in on his eyes like they were forensic lenses, insisting they saw panic, betrayal, pressure, clarity, truth, dread, all depending on which comment section you were in. Someone wrote, his voice cracked like a confession. Someone else said, "That's not anger, that's weight." A third person replied, "Nah, that's acting." And just like that, speculation snowballed so fast it made the Kardashians' entire camera crew look slow motion. Because Melly is one of those artists the internet loves to psychoanalyze, every lyric treated like prophecy, every expression treated like Morse code, every breath interpreted as symbolism. The alleged uploader didn't explain anything. No caption, no date, no confirmation it was even real. Just raw footage floating in the storm. And that silence hit harder than any context could. Because when a clip drops without instructions, the internet invents its own. Suddenly, fan pages were doing analysis breakdowns like they had degrees in emotional intelligence. Look at the way he moves his shoulders. That's stress posture. Listen to the tone in his voice. That's someone carrying conflict. Others swore it was a clip from old times, resurfaced just to stir headlines. But the mystery is what made it viral. When people don't know the truth, they build their own, and once the theory started, they multiplied at light speed. Commenters insisted Melly was reacting to pressure from inside his circle. Others claimed the clip looked like he'd just heard devastating news. A few insisted it wasn't a meltdown at all, but a venting moment taken wildly out of context. The public didn't have enough to understand the situation. But that didn't stop them from acting like internet detectives pulling up screenshots, rereading lyrics, and cross-referencing timelines like they were trying to solve a national mystery. Because when it comes to Melly, everything gets treated as a puzzle piece, especially anything that looks emotional. TikTok narrators drag the clip into dramatic edits with sinister sound effects. YouTube commentators posted breakdowns titled, "What Did Melly Know?" And the moment he realized everything. And every time someone slowed the footage down, the theories got juicier. They said you could hear stress in his laugh, tension in his pauses, mystery in the way he looked off camera. It didn't matter that nobody had any facts. The timeline treated speculation like scripture. Because Melly's public life has always hovered in that strange space between real headlines and online myth. His name triggers curiosity. His energy fuels fascination. So when this rumored meltdown surfaced, the internet didn't ask, "Is this real?" It asked, "What does it mean?" People who'd never paid attention before suddenly got involved, saying the clip looked like truth you weren't supposed to see. Fan pages posted threads connecting expressions from the clip to old interviews. Others went through his lyrics, convinced the footage lined up with lines that hinted at loyalty, betrayal, confusion, trust, and emotional weight. They circled facial expressions, speculated about someone speaking off camera, invented dialogues, invented context, invented explanations. In a digital world where silence is suspicious and emotion is evidence, the internet convinced itself the clip was the key to something deeper, but just as quickly, skeptics arrived, calling the reactions delusional fanfiction. They argued the alleged footage could have been from any moment, an argument with management, a tiring studio night, or something as simple as fatigue. But logic doesn't beat mystery. And mystery always wins when the subject is Melly. His name already sits at the crossroads of controversy, fascination, myth, and narrative. People project questions onto him the same way conspiracy theorists project aliens onto Mars panoramas. It doesn't need to be true. It only needs to feel true. Screenshots of comment chains started spreading, but people claiming they saw hidden messages in the clip. Some said the meltdown looked more like a man exhaling the pressure of fame. Others said it looked like someone wrestling with loyalty and pain. A few insisted it looked like a warning, the kind of moment where someone realizes the cost of trust. TikTok creators added subtitles nobody actually heard. He knew what was coming. Somebody betrayed him. You can see when his guard drops. These weren't facts, they were imaginations, dressed like revelations. But those imaginations hit harder than statements. Because people have always treated Melly's emotional moments like puzzle boxes waiting to be unlocked. Meanwhile, speculation about the uploader ran as wild as theories about the clip. Was it really a friend? Was it a troll? Was it someone chasing attention? The internet spun stories faster than it verified them. Some claimed the person who posted it wanted to expose Melly's mental state. Others said it was meant to show his humanity. Some insisted it was real insight into personal conflict. And the quieter voices joked that somebody probably dumped an old clip online just to watch chaos spark. Because few things entertain the culture more than explosive mystery. Eventually, the theories stretched so far they started bending into fiction. Some viewers concluded Melly was finally showing the pressure he's been masking. Others said the tension in his posture looked like someone who trusted the wrong people. Drama pages zoomed in on one tiny head tilt, framing it as the moment his emotions cracked. As if a single gesture could unlock a timeline. Even people who admitted they had no idea what the clip meant still reposted it because the energy felt cinematic. And when people say energy feels cinematic, they're usually imagining the story more than observing reality. Internet rumor culture turned that alleged meltdown video into a personality test. Everyone saw what they wanted. Fans saw vulnerability. Critics saw instability. Defenders saw a human moment stripped of privacy. And the timeline saw entertainment. But no matter the perspective, the footage became bigger than itself. It became a magnifying glass pointed straight at every rumor, lyric, interview, and emotional moment Melly ever shared. Because when someone's name sits inside controversy as sharp as his, every whisper turns into prophecy. What made the speculation even louder was the total lack of context. Nobody knew who was behind the camera, what conversation happened before the recording, or whether the moment had anything to do with anything. And that blank space became fuel. The gap invited imagination. And imagination will always go darker, deeper, and more dramatic than reality. Especially with an artist whose life already sits under one of the most intense microscopes in music culture. By the end of the first wave, the alleged clip wasn't just footage. It was treated like evidence of something bigger. Pressure, conflict, truth, emotion, frustration, realization. Nobody could prove any of it, but that didn't matter. Because the mystery turned the moment into a sensation, and the internet, obsessed with cliffhangers, decided that this clip wasn't just a viral leak. It was a window into something the public swears it wasn't meant to see. Whether or not any of that was true didn't matter. The theories were enough. The Meltdown had already been crowned legendary, even if reality never confirms. What really happened before or after the camera rolled? Before or after the camera rolled. If the upload itself was a spark, the reaction became a wildfire. Within hours, the clip morphed into a cultural event, treated like the secret episode of a show that everyone swore they weren't obsessed with but couldn't stop watching. Rap pages reposted it with captions like, "What was really going on here?" While conspiracy accounts added dramatic instrumental music, zooming in on Melly's expression as if it held the coordinates to buried treasure. And that zoom button saw more action than an FBI surveillance team, because everyone tried to decode every blink, every sigh, every glance away from the lens, like those micro-movements were confession letters written in body language. Soon, TikTok-stitched reactions looked like courtroom breakdowns. Self-appointed experts analyzing human emotion insisted the clip captured a moment of someone carrying more internal storms than he let on publicly. Others countered that the clip showed exhaustion, not collapse, the type of burnout anyone could feel after long days. Layered pressure or emotional turbulence unrelated to anything the culture assumed. The contradiction didn't slow the speculation. It fed it. Because if the internet loves anything more than drama, it's conflict disguised as debate. Memes rose from the chaos like smoke over a burning skyline. People slapped captions like when the group chat goes left, or when the Wi-Fi lags during a ranked match under the tense frame to soften the moment with humor. But those jokes only made the clip circulate faster. Someone theorized that the unnamed friend dropped the footage because it needed to be seen. And that phrase clung to every repost like duct tape. Suddenly, the clip wasn't entertainment. It was symbolism. People decided it represented the unseen pressure artists face. Others argued the opposite, saying fans were inventing tension where there was none. But irony doesn't survive on social media. Exaggeration does. And the exaggeration went nuclear. Rap fans began dragging other artists into the frenzy, comparing moments of emotion caught online. Suddenly, Melly's alleged Meltdown clip was included in montage. Edits with viral moments from other rappers, Extentation's emotional live streams, Juice WRLD's vulnerable interviews, NBA YoungBoy's tense outbursts, Rod Wave's broken-sounding freestyles. The timeline decided there was a pattern in emotional energy artists weighed down by storms. And Melly's clip, however ambiguous, fed that narrative. He became the newest example people used to argue that fame, pressure, loyalty, betrayal, scars, and expectation bubble inside an artist until moments like this seep out And then the celebrity reactions kicked the drama up a few floors. A few rappers reposted the clip with cryptic emojis, the kind that make zero sense but ignite a million theories anyway. Others reacted on live streams with the classic "I'm not saying anything, but" tone that says everything without saying a single sentence. A couple even used the clip as a launchpad for philosophical commentary about trust, internal battles, mental strain, and emotional honesty. None of these reactions confirmed anything, but fans treated them like validation anyway. Because in rumor culture, vague acknowledgement counts as confession. Even more chaos hit when YouTube commentators dropped full-length breakdowns with titles like "He wasn't okay" and the clip they didn't want public. The thumbnails had red arrows, highlighted circles, and dramatic fonts, amplifying the moment into spectacle. Comment sections filled with viewers claiming they could feel the pain, or that his tone carried a different kind of weight. Some swore his expression indicated heartbreak. Others said it looked like anger at betrayal. A few claimed to recognize the location behind him, hinting the clip wasn't recent at all. The more uncertainty, the more addicting the theories became. Online forums began asking whether the clip was a psychological reveal, as if it exposed suppressed burdens. Some speculated it was recorded at a transitional time in his life, where stress was high and loyalty was thin. Others theorized it was a moment of private honesty that never should have gone public. And when the internet doesn't know the truth, it chooses the version that hits hardest. Speculation replaced context, and context became irrelevant. The loudest voices insisted the meltdown showed authenticity, the kind of unfiltered distress that rarely leaks online without someone purposely pressing upload. That's when narratives about the friend who dropped it turned wild. Some said the person was airing the clip for clout. Some said it was a gesture of sympathy, showing the world that Melly was human under the myth. And some darker corners whispered that the upload came out of loyalty conflict. It's like someone trying to show a side the culture never saw. No claim stood on solid ground. Yet all of them sounded cinematic enough to travel fast, as soon as the idea spread that the clip looked too real. A new wave of theories surfaced. Fans began connecting it to lyrics they always interpreted as emotional warnings. Lines about pressure, masks, loyalty, and demons suddenly felt amplified. Edits blasted those bars over the clip-like soundtrack music from a dramatic documentary. People started asking, was this the moment the lyrics were born? Was this the breakdown that inspired the track? And none of those questions relied on truth at all, just the satisfaction of building. Mythology then came to think pieces on social platforms. Writers who never met Melly spoke like narrators of ancient folklore, claiming the clip highlighted the disconnect between public personas and internal strain. They argued that fame traps people with expectations that crush unseen. And they treated the alleged meltdown like a tragic screenshot of an artist losing public composure in a private moment. Whether any of those claims were accurate didn't matter. People wanted poetry, not plain answers. An online scandal has always loved painting tragedy dressed as symbolism. Meanwhile, others pushed the narrative that the clip was taken entirely out of context and was likely harmless exhaustion, frustration during studio work, or emotional release that had nothing to do with anything bigger. But those explanations didn't trend because they weren't explosive. Calm interpretations never beat chaos. And chaos had already taken the mic soon. The conspiracy extended to the uploader's silence. The fact that this friend hadn't come forward to explain became a breeding ground for even louder theorizing. If the clip wasn't meant to be dramatic, why drop it with no context? If it wasn't meant to spark questions, why remain anonymous? The internet treats mystery like war bait. Silence becomes suspicious, and a lack of answers becomes proof of secrecy. Viewers invented motivations, invented drama, invented betrayal arcs. Narratives bloomed like plotlin. At one point, the meltdown went from being a moment to being a conversation. People began wondering if the clip proved how overwhelming life becomes behind the digital curtain, where fans want art but forget that artists are actual human beings. Others treated it as a warning, saying the emotional toll of pressure is often invisible until a moment like this erupts. Whether the clip was real, old, edited, misunderstood, or totally harmless almost didn't matter anymore. Because the culture already decided what it symbolized, celebrity commentators raised questions instead of answers. And that uncertainty gave the clip legendary status. To them, it wasn't about Melly being unstable. It was about the world misunderstanding the cost of fame. To the internet, it wasn't about honesty. It was about mystery. And to meme pages, it wasn't about truth at all. It was about entertainment. Each lens fed the fire, sharpening the moment into something timeless. The Meltdown clip didn't just trend. It became folklore. People will always obsess over the cracks in a public figure's armor, especially in someone as enigmatic as Melly. And this clip, stripped of context and injected with unlimited imagination, turned into a treasure chest people swore contained hidden meaning. Some saw guilt, others saw heartbreak, others saw revelation. And all of that lived on nothing more than a few seconds of film, rumored to be uploaded by a friend who may not even be real. That's the hyperreality of online scandal culture. A look, a sigh, a posture, an expression, all become prophecies. And Melly, with every layer of public mystery already wrapped around him, became the ultimate canvas for a meltdown moment people wanted to treat as groundbreaking truth. Whether the clip meant everything or nothing, it changed something important because after it dropped, nobody looked at him the same way again. The mystery was too strong, the theories too addictive. And the speculation machine doesn't stop once the wheels start spinning. What came next wasn't loud, dramatic, or explosive. It was quieter, stranger, like the part of a storm where the sky doesn't move, but everyone knows the lightning hasn't finished. The clip stopped trending at the surface level, but its shadow lingered everywhere. Melly's name became shorthand for mystery. Whenever fans saw him smile in a picture, they whispered, "He looks different now." If he laughed, someone said it sounded like weight cracking. People reread every public moment through the lens of that alleged meltdown footage, as if those few seconds revealed an emotional map that had always been there, just blurred before. The theories didn't die. They mutated. Some viewers insisted the clip revealed the stress of being misunderstood in a world that always reduces artists into headlines. Others framed it as the raw humanity hidden beneath swagger, confidence, and the armor that fame forces you to weld over your skin. For these people, the meltdown wasn't a weakness. It was a rare tear in the curtain, exposing the emotional machinery behind someone the internet treats like a character instead of a person. The more time passed, the more people used the clip as their proof that we only ever see pieces, never the full story. Rap fans wrapped Melly in a mystique he didn't ask for. They spoke about him like he existed outside the normal rules, as someone who carried his own atmosphere wherever he went. The clip became part of that aura, instead of just being another viral moment. It evolved into a reference point the chapter people brought up whenever his name surfaced. They said the footage showed pressure, conflict, introspection, isolation. But those interpretations said more about the viewers than Melly himself. They projected their fears, anxieties, and expectations onto an unverified video with no backstory, filling the gaps with whatever made the most emotional sense. And ironically, that shift gave the clip even more power. It stopped being gossip and started being a myth. People didn't need to know where it came from or whether it was real. The uncertainty became part of its identity. Comment threads started calling it the moment everyone missed. Others labeled it the raw truth, But nobody could clearly define what truth meant. Some believed the footage showed vulnerability that clashed with Melly's usual public tone. Others said it showed strength, a moment where masked emotions finally leaked through. Every interpretation contradicted another, and yet all felt valid, because nobody had the facts. Meme pages eventually moved on to the next chaos, but the clips stayed floating in the archive of digital memory. Anytime something new happened in Melly's orbit, a post, a lyric, a rumor, a headline, someone resurfaced the Meltdown video like a ghost. They'd comment, "This explains everything," or "This hits different now." Even those who doubted the clip at first began wondering whether they missed something. Silence has that effect. It forces people to replay what they don't understand. And that's where the real aftermath took root, in silence. Melly didn't address the clip. Nobody around him did either. No friend came forward. No explanation. No context. No dismissal. That absence turned the moment into a permanent question mark. A void, and the internet hates voids more than anything. The less people knew, the more they believed the footage captured something real, emotionally relevant or symbolically heavy, even if nothing was proven. That's how myths are built, not through confirmation, but through unanswered questions. Some commentators said the Meltdown moment highlighted a deeper conversation about how fame compresses the mind. They talked about pressure stacked like sandbags, expectations heavy as anvils, and the loneliness that hides in success.
Others
insisted people were projecting too hard, turning a random moment into a metaphor because mysteries entertain better than boredom. They argued that sometimes a tired expression is just exhaustion, not symbolism. But the debate only fanned the flames because both interpretations hit emotional nerves. One side saw struggle. The other side saw overreaction. And each used the same footage to argue completely opposite truths. As time passed, the clip became less about Melly and more about the culture itself. People realized how easily speculation can build towers out of smoke, how fast the timeline transforms ambiguity into prophecy. Some fans admitted they didn't care if the clip had real meaning. They just loved the sensation of believing it did. They loved dissecting it, arguing over it, pairing it with lyrics, building theories like puzzle walls. That rush became its own addiction. Mystery always sells more than explanation. An explanation never arrived. Even months later, the emotional undertones of the Meltdown remained stitched into the way people viewed him. They said his music sounded different after seeing it, as if the rumored vulnerability in the clip had rewired their ears. Others claimed lines that once sounded like hard-hitting flexes now felt like emotional release. It didn't matter. Whether the clip influenced anything, it influenced perception. And once perception shifts, reality follows it. Meanwhile, the alleged uploader faded into obscurity. Nobody ever verified whether they were truly a friend. Nobody traced the origin. No one confirmed a date. Some viewers joked the upload was probably someone fishing for engagement. Others said it might have been an old clip randomly resurfaced, but the timeline didn't care. If anything, the mystery around the uploader made the clip feel forbidden. A leak without a source always hits the brain harder, because it gives people permission to imagine everything and assume anything. Eventually, the Meltdown narrative turned into a cultural lesson. It showed how fast the internet strips context, how fiercely people latch onto emotion, and how quickly interpretation becomes more powerful than fact. It didn't matter that nobody could prove the Meltdown meant anything dramatic. It mattered that people believed it did. That belief shaped commentary, fan discussions, and social analysis long after the trend faded. The image of Melly, head lowered, voice strained, expression tight, seared itself into the digital mind. And through all of that, the clip also humanized him for many. It reminded people that artists aren't bulletproof icons crafted for entertainment. They're humans who feel pressure, uncertainty, and frustration. The freeze-framed emotion. In the video, whatever its context truly was, sparked empathy just as much as speculation. Some viewers began using the moment to highlight the importance of mental space, emotional expression, and understanding the weight that comes with living under the microscope. Whether the meltdown was stress, exhaustion, passion, or nothing at all, it left a footprint on culture. It reminded everyone that sometimes the most powerful viral moments aren't the wild scandals, controversies, or dramatic blow-ups. They're the subtle tremors that whisper instead of scream. The clip didn't have subtitles, context, or resolution. It existed in pure speculation. And yet, it shifted perception more deeply than any staged video ever could. The most ironic part of its entire legacy is that the viral moment didn't end with revelations. It ended with haunting curiosity. To this day, the clip floats like a tab still open in everybody's mental browser. Nobody knows what really happened. Nobody ever confirmed the circumstances. And because the mystery stayed unsolved, the footage became an eternal dot connecting every emotional moment Melly ever shared publicly. Anytime he speaks, people hear echoes. Anytime he looks reflective, theories resurface. Anytime he mentions struggle in a line, listeners connect it back to that shaky upload. And that's how the clip cemented itself as myth, not truth, not confession. Myth. It became a story told through imagination, projected emotion, and social hunger. The meltdown wasn't definitive proof of anything, but it became the symbolic anchor to every conversation about fame, vulnerability, pressure, and introspection tied to his name. The internet may eventually move on, but it never erases its myths. And this one, born from shaky footage and unanswered questions, remains one of the most chilling whispers in Melly lore, a moment frozen in rumor, forever waiting for answers that may never come. And that's the story that swallowed the culture whole, a tiny slice of rumored footage that turned into a liqueur. A cue, more a key, more accuse. Only Ruby Kiss. Only Ruby Kiss has the luxurious texture that glides on. Me McHugh and Me lies. Psychological thriller, dissected by fans, stretched by theorists, and mythologized into something bigger than fact ever needed to be. The clip didn't arrive with explanation, clarity, or timestamps. Just raw energy and 1,000 interpretations waiting to bloom. And in a world where mystery always beats information, that was all it took for the meltdown moment to become legend. Whether it showed exhaustion, pressure, vulnerability, or absolutely nothing meaningful at all, it struck nerves deep enough to keep people replaying, resharing, and reanalyzing long after the hype faded. Now, it's your turn to throw gasoline on the fire in the comments. What do you think that clip really showed? Was it stress? Was it reflection? Was it the internet blowing an unfiltered moment into a cinematic saga because mystery feels good? Drop your theories, your breakdowns, your conspiracies, and your dramatic overreactions. Because here, speculation isn't frowned on. It's sport, science, and free entertainment. And before you dip, smash that like button like you're trying to reset a glitch in the Matrix. Slam that subscribe button like the clip just leaked from your own phone, and turn on notifications the way conspiracy pages watch their For You page for the next scandal seed. This is where rumors become documentaries, clips become clues, and viral whispers turn into full-scale investigations. Stay tuned, stay nosy, and don't blink, because another clip, another leak, another "what did that mean" moment is always around the corner. And when it hits, you already know who's breaking it down first, loudest, and wildest: the Rap Truth. Rap Truth.